So, what is a singleton? So I'm just gonna pull up a little reference code real quick for myself. I don't know if I explained it to you at some point or not, like a singleton. Like, no, maybe I did or not. No, I don't think I did. Okay, so for those of you that don't know what a singleton is, I'm gonna explain. So basically, a singleton is something there's only one of that in your project. So usually what you want to use that for is like a manager, or something that you want to reference often, like a health manager or a scene manager, or something that every object in the scene might want to talk to, but not necessarily the other way around. So, and there's usually can only be one of that instance. So what we're going to do here, so because we're going to be talking a little bit about rotations too, let's just, make a cube for our rotation testing. So I had a little bit of a sore throat, so if my voice is cracking a little bit. So I'm going to make the Y direction. Actually, the Z is usually better, so that we can see what it's pointing towards. And so due to rotations, because the cube, if you notice, this origin is kind of in the middle, I'm going to give a parent empty game object. Let's call it origin. I'm going to make it at 0. And this cube is also 0. So I'm going to parent the cube to origin, and I'm just going to move the cube a little bit outside of the origin. So now that my origin will be able to kind of, do this instead of just, doing this. So we can kind of see where the cube's facing. Just for our own demonstration purposes, this will be like some sort of compass or whatever. Okay, so now that we have that set up, I'll show you what a singleton is. I'm going to save this test scene. And let's make something called, let's just call it a manager. I don't, maybe that's too vague. Unity script might mess up. Let's call it object manager. And double click that to open it. And I'm going to copy and paste just some code, and I'm going to explain what that code does. So this is super useful code. Now I'm going to explain what this actually does. So the naming convention in here doesn't matter. This could be, test. It doesn't matter. I'm just calling it a singleton just so you know what it means. And S is just short for singleton in my mind, and it's only one letter, so it's a simple way to reference it. And I'll explain in a moment why this is cool. So let's say we have a project, kind of like Sam Fisher's here, for example, where he has a lot of rotations maybe that you need to keep track of, like a lot of knobs, right? We got a lot of knobs that we want to keep track of, and maybe we want to check the status of the rotation of that knob. But if you want to load a variable from one object to another, you guys are probably familiar with this. You do public transform, let's call it a knob, and let's just call this, let's just for demonstration purposes, let's actually make like a knob. Whatever. and we call this like knob 1, and let's make a bunch of knobs, and we'll put some texture on them so we can kind of know what direction they're facing. I have this kind of useful little texture that I use for myself. Just so I kind of know what direction something's facing. Okay, so we got a bunch of knobs. And you know what? This object manager, let's not call it that. Let's call it a knob manager. Right? So, and then just change this class here and this class here. So the way that this works is, what this basically does, a private static, anything that's a static is a global variable. It can be accessed from anywhere within your code. And what a singleton allows us to do, I'm going to show you in a second, it allows us to access knob manager from each knob without having to reference knob manager each time. Knob manager is just exists. For all intents and purposes, if your program has knobs, there's always a knob manager. Not every knob needs to have, so let's just say, let's make a knob script. And before I do that, I'm just going to rename the script here knob manager, because it will give me an error if they're not the same name here and the same name down there. So knob manager, got it right here, and let's do a knob script. I don't really know exactly what behavior we're going to give them, but we're going to do it in this sec. So let's just give all of these a knob script. Okay, now before we do that, let me get rid of this. Confusing. And let me create a new object, and I'm going to call this knob manager. So this is just an empty game object. It could be anywhere in the scene. It doesn't matter, as long as it has the knob manager script. And in here, you see we have a public knob. So you could do, we could do it like this if we wanted to. And our knob manager here, now we're gonna have, a bunch of knobs right here. So you guys are probably familiar with, Unity and the public way of exposing the variables here. Now let's say, this is pretty straightforward. So now if I wanted to, let's say, rotate a knob, I'll just say like knob dot rotation dot, let's actually do rotate apply. Wait, no, I know there's this cool, like, I think it's rotate. No, it's just this is just incrementally just gonna rotate, like little by little. Like knob rotate is just gonna kind of rotate it little by little. So I'm just gonna rotate, 0 in the X, and let's say we want to rotate in the Y. You can, yeah, probably in the Y. So let's also do a little speed. Float speed equal to, like, 2f. Let's just do speed, and I'm gonna times that by time delta time. This is really useful to use all the time, and you can look this up to why time delta time is a thing. But basically what I'm going to explain is, let's say if you're rotating something by 2, let's say your computer processor is faster than someone else's computer processor. Well, your computer processor rotating by 2 is going to rotate faster than someone else's computer processor. You might not want to do that in your game. Your game should not be, the speed of something rotating shouldn't depend on the speed of the computer processor. it should be relevant to, it should scale. So you use this time delta time function in Unity, which kind of keeps it constant. So whenever you multiply something by time delta time, it gets rid of that. And you'll notice, like, if you try to rotate something just straight up without using this, you have to give it a really low number. Like, or if you try to move the position on update every frame, you have to give it like a 0.0001 number, or it just flies out of your scene. And that's because your CPU is really fast, and this is happening every frame. So if you move something by 1, that might seem like a small number, but by 1, at the speed of your processor, every frame flies out of your scene. So you multiply by the time delta time. Oh, sorry. Be super duper careful about that. I need you to move much more forward and don't leave on that. I saw the screen is moving. I was like, hey. Okay, so let's just test this out real quick. I'll put the camera in like a convenient place. Probably put it like Alright, so and I got the knob manager here, all good. Alright, so let's play. It seems to be rotating ever so slowly, right? So let's just bump that speed up, like, yeah. Alright, so our manager is rotating one of our knobs. Cool, but that's simple stuff. It's not really like that, much of a thing. But let's say we want something like in the knob manager, we want to have something like public string knob held, which is gonna hold like the value of which knob am I rotating right now, for example. And on start, let's just say, whatever, maybe this happens on collision or something like that. How about we do that? Let's just for just demonstration purposes. So let's make like another game object, a cube. Let's call this hand. And let's give this a rigid body and make it kinematic. And when you make something kinematic, you're basically saying it's still physics objects, but it's not reacting to the world. It's just reacting to your movements, but it's pushing everything else in the world. And then over here, let's say that these guys, let's give them, let's say these are triggers. I'm not sure if this is gonna work like that, but let's just try it. And then in my knob script, let me just look this up real quick. On trigger, enter, collider. Okay. Sometimes I get confused whether it's collision or collider. Void on trigger, enter, collider, call. And this doesn't have to be called. This could be, yay. Doesn't matter. On trigger, enter. If yay dot game object dot name is equal to and debug log. Let me just test that out. It might or might not work. I'm not 100% sure, because sometimes the physics collisions, you need a few more things. Let's just make this collide in here, and yay, we got woot right there. So see the console. Now every time, touch it. It's one of these.
How did you see that without opening up the console tab?
It's right here.
Oh, in the corner. Okay.
Yeah, right here, down at the bottom. Alright, so let's say we want a little bit more than that. Let's say we just want to do debug log instead of just root. We want to say what's the game object that we're actually touching, the name of it. Game. So that's game object. This, which is the current game object, not name. So whenever you type this means the game object that the script is attached to, which happens to be this knob. So let's say, do press play right here. So do the same thing. We move down, touch this guy, knob 1, knob 1 parentheses 1, yeah, knob 1 parentheses 2, knob 1 parentheses 3, right? So now here's the interesting part, right? So let's say I want some sort of global variable that every time a knob gets touched, it turns red. Okay. And when it's not touched, it goes back to normal or whatever. But that red color, I want that to be editable from one place. I don't want to have to edit that every time in every script. So let's say over here in my manager, I'm going to do public, and I'm still not using that knob held thing. Maybe I'll use it later or not. I'm just trying to find the best example to prove this. Why a singleton is useful. So let's do public color, knob held color. Okay. And in my knob manager right here, now you see right here there's a little color right here, which is black right now. Let's say I want to make that, red. Yeah, don't worry about it. It's fine. I think the SD card filled up. I'm still recording the screen though, so that's what's important. So that's red. Let's do another one for knob released color. Let's do like green, something like that. So now in my knob script, on trigger enter, and I'm gonna make another one for on trigger exit. I'm gonna get rid of this. I need this. So here's where the singleton comes in, right? So how would I know how would I get this value? Knob held color in the knob, right? The classical way to do it is you do public, knob manager script, and then, in each knob, now I have it, right here, knob manager, and then I take that, and boom, it's there now, right? That's how you usually do it, right? And then in here, now I can do, game object, get component, renderer, material, color is equal to script dot knob held color, right? That's how you would do it. And the same thing over here. Knob released color. So here's the thing, right? Notice, only this one has the reference right here. Now if I press play, I'll just show you something. So this guy, I want to come here, go down, touch it, ooh, red. Release it, green. Red, green, right? Now what happens if I touch another knob? Error. Why is it an error? It's a null reference exception. Oh god, don't we hate null reference exceptions? What the fuck are null reference exceptions? A null reference exception is basically saying, well, you don't fucking have a reference right here. You see that? None. So if I put the knob manager in there, and I go back to my cube now, and now I do the same thing, now it works. See? Because there's a reference. But guess what? Why is this not a great way to do this? With doing public in here in each knob. What if you had shit tons of knobs? And I mean, honestly, what you could do is, just delete all the knobs, right? Delete all the knobs, put the reference in this one knob, and then just copy the knob around, right? That's probably how you would do it, so you can keep all the knobs. But what if your project doesn't have that flexibility? What if you just already have all your knobs there and shit? You just can't can't be doing that. You gotta put the script on the knobs or whatever. And there's a billion other examples of why it's not the way to do it like that. But like I said, this is how a standard beginner Unity developer would solve this problem. You know, you reference each script to each script. Now, if you had a project with 100 different interactions, you're telling me that every object has to reference every object. If they're talking to each other, everything has to have a reference and a pointer. Otherwise, you get your null reference error. So how do you fix this, right? There's an easy way to fix this. I'll put my knobs back the way I had them. They were nice. And I'm just going to get rid of this. I don't even need this. Don't need that. Don't need it like this. Check this out, right? Because we made a singleton here, and that's this code right here, which basically makes this a public class. All you have to do in this knob is just type the name of your script. It's so beautiful. You just say knob manager. See that? Comes up there. .s, which is this S right here. S as for singleton. Again, that could be yay. Doesn't matter. Yay. Knob help. So now you get all of those exposed variables from your manager. Make sense? And you can just do the same thing here. Knob and these color. Really cool way to do it. Now I'm gonna get rid of that yay and I'm just gonna call it S because I'm gonna teach you guys to say S. If I see you guys making codes and scripts, I want singletons to be .s, goddammit. Because that's how I want to reference them. So it's gonna be .s. I've seen people make their singleton codes like they're singleton. No, fuck that. It's .s. I know, but it's .s, goddammit. I don't want fucking long codes.
Would a server be a good example for a singleton?
If you have only one instance of a thing, like, you know, maybe like an object manager or like, I don't know what, like a scorekeeper. There's only one scorekeeper, you know? But like, there's only one player manager, but there's 2 players, for example, or 10 players, or as long as there's only one of something, then you're goody, right?
Server would be great because you could just access all the variables from server from any object.
Pretty much, yeah. As long as that's being called, as long as that singleton is being called on awake before anything else, and it's being assigned to this, which is this entire script. Now, what you can do with this, what I use it for is as an object manager. If I just need to add any variables I want in here, maybe I want some prefabs, you know, public transform, prefab this, you know, like prefab knob, for example. And in my knob manager right here, it just all my objects are stored in this neat management. So I have a prefab knob right here, so I'm gonna take this prefab knob, make it a prefab. Put that prefab in here. Now all I have to do is anywhere in my code, whether it's in knob.cs or in health.cs or whatever, I could just go knob or like instantiate whatever, and I could do knob manager, just the name of the script. That doesn't have to be knob manager. That could be object manager, it could be health manager, wherever it is that your reference is. .s.knob prefab. I mean, where is that shit? Prefab knob, right there. And it's got the reference. It knows what you're talking about. It's all stored in here. So now let's just see this in action, right? So I'm gonna get rid of this. We don't need this prefab knob. We don't need this public string thing or anything like that.
What would you normally do, like an array?
Yeah, you know, I could do like public transform. No.
Does it mess yourself up by having two singleton objects?
It wouldn't work. It would give you an error. Like if you just make another knob manager, you know, it probably would.
It would assign the last one you instantiated to the singleton.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, but if you tried to get values from both of them, and if the values were different, it wouldn't do what you wanted to do.
You only get the values.
So does that make sense? Like why a singleton is useful? Because watch, now I don't need to. These knob scripts don't even know about any manager existing or anything like that. All they need to know is just what's that color that it's being held there, and in the script you can call it through through here, by exposing it and then getting that. So now all the knobs work. Go on. See? And I can create more knobs in runtime. They all work. Kinda. I don't know why I did that. That was interesting. Huh.
Glitch in the matrix.
Yeah. That's interesting. Might be the initial value, yeah. Is the on trigger enter or something?
Yeah.
How is that? Might be to do something with the batching?
That's the values.
Oh, name. You're using the name.
No, I'm not. See, now it works. It's something to do with the batching, I think. This got me curious now, actually. So let's try to build settings. Player settings. Yeah. Resolution. No, other settings. You just get rid of dynamic batching. I bet I'm almost 100% sure. The dynamic batching basically merges materials and objects and just merges them all together at runtime to save performance. Yeah, so let's try that again, right? So that shouldn't have done that.
That's better than that.
I mean, the static only works if your objects are marked as static. Both are better to have for performance reasons. So just try that again. Damn. It seems like it must be the material because the material is instance.
What's referencing?
It's just see the knob.
It's still referencing.
Get component renderer.
But what's
material. It must be the material must be. See, because it's an instance material. It must be that. That's so interesting.
I think because you did it in runtime, right? You just did it in editing.
No, in editor it would totally work, but it should work at runtime too. I'm almost 100% sure it's something to do with with the material. So, but if you were doing that now with the material, let's say if you were doing that with some other value or whatever, it would work like this dynamically. So, do you see why there's like a huge advantage to doing? So, not every knob needs to know there's a manager and point to it, but the manager just exists and it has values, and you can just pull those values from the manager just by knowing the name of the manager or the singleton. I mean, not the manager. Yeah. So rotations. So let's say our knob manager here. What was your question again exactly? Like you wanna?
If you're holding a vibe controller,
Yeah.
right? You're not using a mouse to track rotations or assign rotations. You're given a rotation
Yeah.
based on the vibe, right? So if you touch a knob, click, and then start to twist your hand, how do you track how far you've gone, and then both ways when it's skips
So-
0 and 130.
So from using the Vibe development, the Vibe computer is over there, but I can just simulate exactly what it does. It literally just uses, it just rotates in 3D space in Unity in the same way. So let's say we wanna rotate a knob right now by doing this. Let's say the Vibe controller is starting off like this, right? Just some random ass position. So what we want to do is on my knob. Let's just say I want to store a value here, like public. No, not even. It could be a private quaternion
Not only would be on the knob, it would be on the object that hits the knob. And that's what you track. You're not tracking the
well, you might hit multiple knobs, so like you have a lot of knobs to keep track of. Each knob should know what the hand when it entered, where the hand was when it entered, and then when it released. Let's just try it like that, right? So let's say private quaternion hand entered rotation, and private quaternion hand current rotation, and private. I think that should be fine. Current. That should be like last, I think. So let's just say on trigger enter, collider yay. Leave that color thing there because it's cool, I guess. So if yay game object dot name is equal to hand. So that's just the name of this object right here. We say hand entered rotation is equal to yay dot transform dot rotation. And then on trigger stay, I would say, or it should be like.
I would do an update. Like, well, it doesn't really matter. No, if you do it, it wouldn't be a mistake because you're gonna just keep the box going in there, right?
Let's just do it as an example, but I just want to show you what I'm trying to do. So same thing. If the game object name is hand, hand current rotation is equal to. Okay. Then what we could do in the update is we could find the difference between the hand current rotation dot Euler angle dot y. Let's just do something like debug log, and then the hand, what was it called again? Entered rotation dot Euler angle dot y. Minus. Let me just see that. So let's just put like knob rotation. So let's just try that real quick. So it's not gonna actually rotate the knob, but cannot be applied to string of float. You do it. So
I know how to do that.
no, it's fine. Just because I mixed the string and a float, whatever the fuck. Trying to be continuous. Okay, so just enter it. Right now it's 0. Is debugging me 0? Actually, you know what? Let's just, because it's doing all the knobs. Only if hand entered rotation is not equal to null. Because right now it's giving me 4 debugs. You get what I mean? Because all the knobs not equal to null, which is only gonna. Let's just do it in an update because it's for a specific reason. I want to show you. So it shouldn't give me a 0 and down here now. It should just be empty. So give me a 0. Let's do private bool touching. So if enter touching equals true, on exit, do the same thing. Touching is false. Hold on, let's see this. Let me just send a message to all the waitlist people, I guess, if they're gonna still come, to know when to come.
She'll come in, right?
Yeah, like for the after party. That's it. I think someone didn't get the address. What should I check? Wait, Jay Moore? That's you. Didn't get. Really? Yeah, I did. Really? Everyone that's are you guys not subscribed to emails from organizers?
Maybe that's possible.
It's only sent to everyone that's on the thing.
Just send a group chat next time.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry about that, guys. I just didn't want to put my address out there on fucking Meetup.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's my house. Alright, I'm just gonna send these guys messages.
Yeah, actually, I saw that guy wandering around, and I was like, that guy, he's looking for the same thing. And I was like, I'm just gonna stand here until he figures it out. And I'm just gonna stand there across the street drinking my milkshake, watching him walk back and forth up and down the block. And then finally, he like figured it out. And I was like, all right, now I'll go there.
Oh my god, you guys are hilarious. Sorry about that, guys. I'll have a better system next time. Yeah, I can type you in. Well, you can I'll just give you the. Okay, that's something. They can't say that I didn't know. I guess I'll say in the comments. I'll be like, send me a message. Okay. So back to this. Okay, so if touching. So right here on trigger exit, touching is not double equal. It's not the right way to do it. Touching is equal to true on trigger enter. On trigger exit, touching is equal to false. They're gonna leave. Let me shoot it. I didn't even notice. Who's standing there? Oh. So yeah. So we got 0, and then I'm gonna start rotating it. See that?
See it jump.
Oh.
Okay.
I see what you're saying.
When it jumps, when you're on the 5, whenever, I mean, you don't know what you're tracking at. So what I'm assuming, there has to be, you either have to keep track of what the turn is coming to at the last frame to detect and jump.
It's because you're using rulers.
You have to use it no matter what, because you're tracking.
No, I know.
So what you probably have to do
I feel your pain.
keep track of what the last frame was and you recognize the jumps. If it jumps, you gotta do the math and track it.
Kinda.
Like if it goes from 0 to 360, you know.
It's just going in reverse here. How about instead of we doing that, we could do let me see something.
What I was thinking was when you click down, you can instantiate a cube with the second cube. It stays where that's at, or you could keep track of what the rotation was, and then when you start to turn, there's got to be a function in Unity that lets you calculate angle differences. Hopefully it's doing the shorter way versus the longer way.
Rotation, X,
Angle.
Y,
Angle.
yeah, older angle.
Something
Y,
just angle
Z,
though.
yeah.
It's a function just called angle, but I don't know if that's either going to do well because it doesn't know if it's jumping the longer way or the shorter way.
Well, let me try this angle axis thing. So float angle to angle axes. So it outputs to angle, and the axes that will do new vector 0, 1. So that's up 0. Angle enter, and then angle current. And then let's do angle enter minus angle current. Actually, missing an out. Ah, fuck you. 100. Out. Okay. Fucking C#. Get the fuck out of here. How does that work again? I don't even know. Hold on. Angle. Angle.
And older angle?
No, it's like, it's a C# syntax. What? That's... Oh, wait, what is this? This thing? Missing out modifier. Out. Well, it should be like, I don't know. What does it mean by that? Or maybe it just should be like declared or something. Get the fuck out of here. Has some invalid argument. Oh, should be new here. It's odd. No. It's so weird. Oh, it wants an out.
It's got to be equal to something else.
Wait, why does it want an out vector? Oh, wait. I was using the wrong thing. I'm trying to find something that uses.
I think you're looking for quite coming in that window.
I know, but like, it's not there. Damn, son. And definitely, what you were saying, that would be the way to do it. I figured there'd be like an easier way.
It's such a simple thing to do, and I have to write like extra code to do that. It just feels so like, I don't know.
Then you can make that the studio working
Can you
better.
just modify
Pretty much,
360?
if you're holding your vibe like this, the controller's up. It's not actually at 0 rotation, right? It's at like 0 and 360. So it's got like two very different numbers in the immediate directions in which it's the hand. So we have to like come up with a way that when you click, let's say this hand is clicking at 280, but this one's clicking at 50, and then you start clicking this one this way, it jumps to 280. That's the problem, is that it's skipped. Instead of doing clicking and then detecting that I went 280 this way, doing it that way, it's already giving me like 180 to 0 in the same place. So it's not actually counting. If you're counting increments and then all of a sudden you're going from 360 to 0, what happens? It goes the opposite way. So it creates like this automatic bug. So you have to write code that tracks if you're crossing that line. What were you at in the last time? The last time you picked up. And if you
just modify yourself, you don't really care about like 440.
but if you start at 0 and then go the opposite way, you got, you can't always just mod it. Because if you're starting at 280 and then you're crossing over into 0, the number's going to change somewhere. No matter which way you recalculate it, at some point, if you're doing some sort, unless you get it all the way at the bottom, like you mentioned 0 and 360 down here, then maybe you can do that. But again, you're relying on trying to get around an edge loop, which will probably explode itself somehow anyway.
Let's see what this does.
Would it
Use
be
the
easier
other
if
side.
you had another different kind of interface of a UI bar right here and just do up and down like this and that?
Right now, that's all I'm doing is up and down, but people are going to naturally click. And not. You just have like, a little code to track it, a little bit of unintuitive, but I'm surprised Rod didn't give you a way to do it. That when you click down, you should just track how much you turned. There's no way that it would be handy to go all the way around. But,
I think you say I'm missing an out modifier for this shit.
I think you're saying you want out, not an out new. Maybe.
I could do that, so that's why I give you the buttons. But again,
It wants like it has to put out here or something.
It would be the best if we can do this.
and I've seen some of the demos do it, so they probably do
Some of
the
the
same
demos
thing.
do?
Yeah, like a radio. You've seen
Oh.
like the car simulator, or even in
Oh.
the job simulator one.
Let's see.
Not yet.
There's like some radio, you can turn the radio. It's so cool.
Yeah.
It actually changes the radio.
So it's definitely already been done.
Yeah, but they're probably also.
Okay, I think I might have found I might have found a solution for you.
What buttons? We turn around like what buttons?
I think I might have found a solution for you. So what if we do axes entered y minus axes current dot y? Yep. It's spiked with ecstasy. I got you, bro. I got you something. Still does a little jump, no? Huh? Yeah. So random. So let's enter a knob. Say another knob. 0. Start turning. After 0.5.
After what?
After 0.5. Look, then it goes to negative. What? Wait a second.
You have some bad on there?
I mean like, shit, man.
Starting, no, it's not that. No, it's doing starting. Sorry, do it one more time.
See, but look at what I'm doing. I'm using this to angle axes thing. So I'm storing it in this axis, this vector 3, right?
Right.
And then I'm just negativing the beginning with the current from this vector 3 perspective. It's definitely not as bad as what that fucking 360-degree thing is going on. So go in, rotate. At the 0.5. Let's go back, right? See? At some point, look, at some point it just goes, it's too much for it, you know? It's too much rotation. You went 360 degrees already. Look, follow me right here. Look, I'm gonna put it on 0. Let's just put it, yeah, let's put it on 0 right here, right? So, go in. So let's start from, so now we're at, okay, so we're at 90 degrees now. Now we're at 180 degrees. Now we're at almost 360. Almost, well, because I'm going in reverse now. Almost 360, and there we go. So now we went back. So now we're going backwards. Look, now we went past 360. You know what I mean?
Oh, so you already did a full 360?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, then send me that line of code, please.
Alright. That I can help. Well, look, I have the whole video. Everything's been recorded, what I just did. I'm going to upload the video, and I'm going to upload these Unity packages later. So, shout out to Sam Fisher and to Virtual Audio Studio.
Audio Fusion.
Audio Fusion. Shout out to Audio Fusion and Virtual Analog Studio. Bernie 2016 and Make America Great Again. I don't have my hat right here.